Yeah, well, first off, I want to say this. Like, second time we've played against Howard, guys. Kenny Blakeney's a really good coach. He's a really, really, really good coach. He's a good guy. I've always known that. And he's a Duke grad, so that ain't always easy for me to say. And I'm being halfway funny, but he is a really, really, really good basketball coach and does a terrific job with his team. And I just, after now playing against their team twice and preparing twice, I have a ton of respect. It's not a secret, why he's been to the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. First off, hats off to them. I thought they were well prepared. Their movement without the ball it can be difficult to deal with. There's no doubt about that. And that gave us some problems there in the first half. But so give them credit for giving us a run there for a while. I thought in the second half we made a choice that we were going to try to defend to a standard close to what we expect. And I thought good things happened at that point. It was good to see us play well through a stretch and for most of the second half. That's hopefully something we can build off of. I thought through that stretch it was like really nice to see Aziz play the right way. I thought he kind of found himself offensively doing his job, versus some different ball screen coverages that he's seen the last. He got switched at Villanova. He's getting switched tonight, and I thought that's something he's not used to. And I thought he kind of found his rhythm of how to play against that tonight. And you look down 8 for 10, 17 points. I was pleased there. And Jizzle gets the 4 fouls. I probably should have, I don't like, that's the least amount of minutes he's played. He got the foul trouble on the 4 fouls. I probably should have just played him a little bit through it, but I was making sure in case they jumped back into the game that he could finish the game. And then, we didn't get him kind of those extended minutes, but that's okay because we know he's going to be playing big minutes all year long and the rest of the way. It's good to see Dan back out there. I think it was a lift for our team. It's certainly a lift for me. We're a different team with him. We just can do so many different things in terms of putting pressure on the rim off the bounce, getting to the board, his length and athleticism. And, it wasn't about how good or bad he played tonight. It was more about just him getting some minutes. I could have played him a little bit more, but he practiced the last 2 days. He just went 3 days in a row of live play. And when we kind of felt like the game was in hand, we kind of took that last rotation away that we had planned. And I think big picture, that was the right thing to do, even though I know he wanted to go back in the game.
Defensively, did you feel like it was an intensity thing, like an energy effort thing in the first half, or was it they were, like you said, just running some good stuff that kind of mixed you up?
Yeah, I was displeased with our ball pressure. I was displeased with our transition defense, and I don't think they're a team. I mean, again, they're one of the slowest teams in the country, but it's a couple times we let it get behind us just off of falling asleep. I was displeased with some of the physicality of our defense in the first half especially, and then our ability to go make plays defensively. I haven't seen a lot of that here the last week or so, and so that was displeasing. And then I thought to start the second half, we turned the corner in those areas for the first time in a while.
It felt like right before the under 4 timeout in the first half, there was a really good segment or two there defensively. Did that maybe feel like it kind of kicked up going into that stop, or am I seeing things there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go look at the tape, but it's one of those things that, and I think this is hard for young people. Like, it's not like I ever watch our team practice or play and I've ever felt like they don't want to be good. Like there's just a level of effort. There's a level of intensity and edge that when we play to that, we're very good. And when we just, play hard and try to play well, we're just not quite as good. So I think sometimes people want things to be black and white, and it's just not that simple. And I think what we have to do, and again, we did it in the second half, there's a light switch, right? And you can turn that intensity, that edge, that focus, you can turn that on, and I just think you never turn it off. Like, I think you turn it on and you just leave it on, because when we have it on, we're a good basketball team, and when we don't, we're not as good. And I think our young, I had to kind of remind myself, I said this on the radio, like, I've had to remind myself the last week or so, however long it's been, that's why I have a job. It's to, like, try to get young people to understand that there's a different level they can go to. There's a different level they can play at, and that's not normal to be at that level all the time, but that's why we have jobs and leadership, to try to get them there, right? And so we'll continue to try to push for that, because when we play at that level, again, I'll say it, I think we're a good basketball team.
I'm sure you said some motivational things at halftime, but who's the player that gets them going, in addition to you?
I just think we got a bunch of old guys, Scott, experienced guys that want to win, and it's going to be a collective thing on this team. I know that's not good to write in the paper, that it'd be great to say, hey, this is the guy that huddles them up and screams at. They asked me on the radio, hey, what'd you say at halftime? I said, well, guys, I've been on 10 for a week. Like, I've been on level 10 for a week. Okay, so it wasn't anything I said. I've been asking for it to the highest level since the Georgia Tech game, and they've known I've been displeased. So it wasn't like I had some speech at halftime. And I don't think it's, as much as this night might not be good for some great story, I think we have a lot of guys. Looking down at our roster, we got a lot of older players, experienced players that want to win, that value winning, that want to do it right. And I think collectively, they all have the ability to collectively make that choice. And we've done that at times. And we've done that for a lot of our preseason. We've done that in games. And, we just got to keep reminding ourselves and never turn that switch off. And I think when we do that, I think we're a pretty good basketball team, guys.
Dan comes in, makes an immediate impact, cutting, rebounding, loose balls. Was that kind of just a microcosm of how he can impact the game, and was it nice to see it that quickly when he came on the floor?
You just, I said this to our staff after practice the last couple of days. You just feel a little different about our team with him out there. I mean, you just do, right? I mean, he just, gosh, there's a couple plays tonight. I mean, what's the play? He goes for a steal, he can't get in the backcourt, and it turns into 5-on-4, and he's chasing it from behind, and you're like, how did that situation turn into an advantage for the offense? And then he goes, and I can't see it from 65 feet away because it was on the other end line, but somehow he blocks the shot from behind, and it doesn't go out of bounds, and we end up with a loose ball, and it's just like, Dan Skillings has the ability to make plays even in bad situations. And, he made the mistake and the play in that one, but got us an extra possession and kept them from getting a shot. So, we're a much better team with Dan. We've missed him dearly, and now it's just about getting him back in rhythm and getting his game back. But tonight was a great step in the right direction.
Wes, Dylan just mentioned the praise for a guy like CJ Anthony about how he keeps this group collective and his IQ, and that he sees the game differently despite not playing actually on the court at times. He mentioned how he looks to him for the IQ to kind of get his insight on things on the floor. Just talk about what CJ means to this team despite not playing as much as he hoped.
Yeah, we're redshirting CJ, and he's a team captain, right? So I don't take that kind of stuff lightly, like who the designated guys as leaders are, and he's one of them. And we're redshirting him not because, like we don't want to put him in games. We're redshirting because I really believe that CJ Anthony could start for a Division I basketball team. But it's so important to him that he finished at Cincinnati. He started here when we got here 3.5 years ago, and he wanted to do 4 years and be a Cincinnati graduate and play 4 years of Cincinnati basketball. Like, that was really important to him. But it was also important to me that here's a guy that's done, we talk about sacrificing a lot. Here's a guy that's been the example of sacrifice. Because you guys come to practice, he busts our tail in practice. I mean, like, he gives our guys that are playing everything and more, and has days he outplays them. And he doesn't say boo. He's the biggest cheerleader on the bench. He prepares them for the game. He knows the scouting report better than anybody. He's what being in this program is all about. And we're redshirting him so that he can do what he wanted to do and finish his career here, but also then still go play somewhere, because he's good enough to start for a lot of Division I teams. And somebody's going to be really, really happy when they get him next year, and we're going to be his biggest cheerleaders from afar. But he's, to me, what college basketball and college athletics are all about.
Dan, returning today as opposed to for the Xavier game, just how much does that speed up his ability, do you think, to get back to where he was on that opening night with the 17 and 11?
I think from my standpoint, this has always been about what's best for Dan, big picture. I think that was, and you almost got to protect Dan from Dan, because Dan wants to play, guys, and he wants to get out there and compete. And I knew that after a couple weeks, and maybe less than that, he'd feel like he could play. And that happened. And it's been really hard, because he's been going through full speed workouts for a while. And he started to feel confident here 7, 8, 9 days ago that I'm ready, and we still held him another week. I'd have liked to have had him at Villanova the other night. I mean, my gosh, right? And he could have played, but we made a decision for what was best for him long term. It's not the injury that he's coming back from. It's you're worried that you have somebody idle that long, and you just throw them right out into it, that you're risking another injury, right? And so we're trying to take it slow, and that's been the goal all along. But he went through a really long return to play progression, maybe longer than I've ever seen. Once a guy was cleared, he got real minutes tonight. We did not overdo it, thank goodness. And then we'll make sure he gets a little rest and get him back in the flow so he can keep progressing every day.
2 more.
Connor Hickman with 7 rebounds, a couple steals. Offensively, it's just not there for him yet. Is it just a matter of him finding that rhythm and maybe seeing a couple go in to kind of get sparked?
Yeah, well, like these guys told me walking off the floor, he scored his 1,000th career point tonight. He'll be fine on offense. He scored 1,000 points as a Division I basketball player. And he played, I mean, I respect every Division I league, but he played in the Missouri Valley. That's a pretty damn good league. That's one of the best leagues in the country that's not a Power 5 league. So he scored most of those 1,000 playing at Bradley the last 3 years. He's a damn good offensive player. He's going to be fine. He's already had some very good offensive moments here with the lights on. So I'm not worried about it. I was really happy to see him do some of the little winning things, though. Our team needed that. I thought the loose ball he got in the left corner to start the second half was one of the most important plays of the game for our team.
Close to 10 dunks tonight. Can you feel that on the sideline, just the way those plays energize the team and then can reverberate on the other end defensively with that energy?
Well, I think the things on defense lead to the things on offense. The defense and rebounding leads to opportunities to play in the open floor, and certainly we have a lot of guys that can make plays there. But there was some really nice finishes. There was some really nice passes tonight in the open court and converting 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s, and then we had a couple execution lobs in the second half as well. But generally, the more you do the right thing on the other end, it leads to good things on the offensive end.
Yes, Coach.
Thanks, guys.